I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are focused like a laser beam on NFTs, and we are talking to the definitive sources for information on NFTs, the men behind a wonderful new startup called NFTmagazine.com, and they're about to drop a very hot NFT, much anticipated. It is called Paper Boyz. Let's begin our conversation today by talking to Jet Said. Jet, thanks for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me on. Super excited to be here and talk about what we got going on.
Okay, let's begin at the beginning. How did you get this idea for NFTmagazine.com? It seems like there's not a lot of information out there that is definitive, so it seems like a great idea.
Yeah, so the overall idea for NFTmagazine.com originally came from my experience being in the NFT space. I first got started in NFT space about back in November. I did the marketing for a project, sold out that project. And even though I sold out that project while doing the marketing, I got hired as a marketing consultant. I didn't even know how to buy an NFT myself. And so after I, did all the marketing, and I wanted to realize like, okay, how do I actually buy this thing? How does this thing actually work? And I remember watching a video by Gary Vaynerchuk, one of the very influential figures in the space. And he was saying, you shouldn't even go buy your first NFT until you have at least 50 hours of research. And so, he's somebody that I admire a lot, somebody that, I trust his opinion. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna do 50 hours of research. I did my 50 hours of research on NFTs. I watched tons of videos. I'm on the 4th page of YouTube, the 3rd page of Google, reading every single blog, listening to every single podcast, and really trying to understand the space as much as I can before deciding to pull the trigger and buy an NFT. And then, so once I did that, I'm like, all right, cool. Let me buy my first NFT. And I thought that 50 hours of research would give me some sort of kind of like an advantage. And, I actually might know something because I'm assuming most people, wouldn't do that much hours because it is a lot of time to put in before, kind of hopping into something. And so what I did was I went and I was looking at Gary V's wallet on OpenSea. And I decided, okay, if there's different NFTs inside his wallet, these must be the ones that he's investing in, the ones that he thinks are valuable. And, these are the ones that should probably buy. And so I found a couple different NFTs inside, NFTs inside his wallet, and it said minted by Gary V. Now, at the time, I didn't know that people can mint things to other people's wallets. So I thought, I stumbled across this like golden gem, like, oh man, he just minted all these and this just happened like yesterday. This is gonna probably blow up. And so I went and I spent a lot of money on these NFTs without knowing anything about the team, anything about the utility, anything about, anything really. And so all of a sudden, about 30 minutes later, I realized like, wait a minute, I don't think like this was that right move. I don't think this is actually real. Something's not up with this because, I go in their Discord and their community and I'm like, hey guys, this NFT is gonna blow up. Gary Vee just purchased a ton. And people are like, yeah, man, this thing's been dead for like 3 or 4 months. Like people are just minting it to Gary Vee's wallet. Sorry, man, you're shit out of luck. And I'm like, oh man. So I realized I just studied for 50 hours and I consider myself as somebody who's very knowledgeable, very, and I'm an expert in multiple different fields like internet marketing. And I still made a wrong decision and blew a lot of money. And, if that happened to me, what would happen to the ordinary person, who doesn't work from home, who doesn't have free time, who doesn't have, extensive years in background and, online businesses and, building, investing and stuff like that. I was like, this is probably difficult. There's a giant learning curve to the NFT space. And then, so when I go online to do more research, I'm starting to realize all of a sudden, a lot of these platforms that are providing information or, news are really just promotional content, and they're biased, right? They're telling a story that is not necessarily accurate, but is more towards like making somebody believe something that's not necessarily true to, benefit themselves. And so in that case, only really one person or one team wins, which is like the team who is launching because, they're able to make a bunch of money. And maybe the people who buy the NFT, if that NFT actually does do well and actually, whatever utility comes from it or the price goes up or et cetera. And so I said, the NFT space, because Gary Vee was like, I'm in this space for 40 years. And I said, if he's in this for 40 years, I want to be in this for 40 years, but at the way the space is right now, I just can't see that happening. I can't see this space really existing for 40 years, being as, having as much, I guess you could say, vulnerabilities to be kind of deceived within the space. And so I said, if this space is going to last 40 years, this space needs, credible, trusted, reliable news that people can actually go to, and not just go to, but actually be able to communicate with other people about and say, hey, what's your thoughts on this new thing that just happened on, Instagram with NFTs? What's your thoughts on this new thing that just happened with Twitter of NFTs? What do you guys think about this project? But in live time. So not, 3 days after it happened, because it might be too late. The NFT space moves very, very quickly. And if you learn something too late, then all of a sudden, it's, you might be losing money. And it's not the right play. And so I said, people need information in real time. They need to be able to talk to real people that are also actively engaged and people that are unbiased, right? So not inside of a community where everybody in that community is just specifically excited about this one NFT, that one product for that NFT. And is, so therefore has like a biased opinion or, about every other project saying, oh, that project's this, that project's that, or, don't do this or go do that because of their own personal incentives. But a community where everybody in there is, in there for the sake of building the whole entire community and building the entire space. And so I said, we need a platform, we need a community, and we also need to be able to bring it together in real life and be able to do real in-person events, because that's where people's lives change. My life has changed at events over, multiple years. I've met many of my business partners at events over multiple years. And if it wasn't for those events, it wasn't for these communities, it wasn't for the online information, the right people, the right opportunity, the right timing, the right events, then I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And so that was the first idea I literally came up with right after that project. It was like November 18th. I went on GoDaddy.com, searched up the domain NFTmagazine.com. At the time, it was $40,000. And I was like, oh, before I buy this, is this something I really want to, commit to? Am I serious about this? What is my vision for this? And so I said, all right, I'm going to sit on this for like the next month or so, let it kind of rest in the back of my subconscious mind, see what ideas come to me, see what inspiration comes to me. And if it's still around in a month or so, I'm going to pull the trigger because it's meant to be. If it's not around, then maybe it's not meant to be. And, I'll do something else. And so a month later, it's still there, negotiated with the seller back and forth, got a pretty fair deal on it, and started it. And now here we are launching Paper Boyz, which is a all access pass to NFTmagazine.com. So you get lifetime access to our premium Discord, which is usually $1,200 a year for the life, that as long as you hold the NFT, as well as a ticket to our conference this year, NFT Mag Conference, which is going to be in Miami. It can be about 4,000 to 5,000 people. So you get a free ticket for that, as well as a ton of other perks and benefits that come on top of the NFT's utility.
I love it. I love how you blended all these worlds, that you needed information. There was no definitive information on NFTs. There's Barron's and there's the Wall Street journals if you're investing in stocks. But if you're investing in NFT, and sometimes it's a sizable investment, you really don't know where to go. So NFTmagazine.com is now the definitive source for information. Once you got that body of information, then you put a group of developers to work, as I understand it, including some of the top artists and artists who worked on Angry Birds, which has certainly gone viral, and has created Paper Boyz. And I love the name because Paper Boyz are the conduits to get the word out. Tell me a little bit about Paper Boyz. You touched upon it. Let's zero in on it a little bit more.
Yeah, so Paper Boyz, I'm super excited about. So the original plan for NFTmagazine.com was we're going to release this, kind of subscription product, this annual product, this monthly product. And, so it'd be something that's a bit more relatively stable compared to the NFT market as a whole in terms of like, different NFTs and et cetera. But then I was thinking about it and I thought about, people like being able to have like a piece of art and a piece of, something that represents, whatever they're a part of. People want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, and people want to be able to kind of identify with like a group or identify with a community. And so I said, all right, we'll do like a early access pass that will lock people in, and it will be an NFT. And so at first the idea just started off as 3,650 NFTs. And it started off very simple. It actually just started off as like the idea of like, think of like a newspaper emoji and a couple different versions of those, but like our own kind of like, created one. So a gold one, a diamond one, and I think it was like a silver one. And that was the original idea. And most of them were going to look the same. And a lot of projects do that, like an all access pass or like a founder's pass, and they pretty much all look the same. For example, the Nelk Bros, they launched, or the Nelk Boys, they launched their meta card. They all pretty much look the same, besides the exception of a few, and they do well. And so that was the original idea. And as I thought about it more and more and more, I started thinking, our phrase here at Paper Boyz and NFT Magazine is we always deliver, we always deliver. And we always deliver the news, we always deliver the information, we always deliver on what we say we're going to do. And so I started thinking about the art, and I was like, if we're going to do this project, we got to go all in. We need to always deliver in every single area, not just the news, but we need to deliver and over-deliver in the art, over-deliver in the utility, over-deliver in our events, over-deliver in our community, and we need to just over-deliver in all aspects of our business. We can't just do one thing. So just how you do everything, or how you do anything is how you do everything. And so I said, all right, if we're going to do this, let's scrap the kind of newspaper idea and let's get a little bit more creative, because people get excited about things for a couple different reasons. And one of the main reasons is, like, for example, when you think of the good old days, you think of the music you used to listen to, the movies you used to watch, the things you used to do when you're young. Everybody remembers their childhood. It's one of the biggest parts that shape who we are. Everybody has good times. Everybody likes to kind of reflect back on when there was no worries, when everything was just like you didn't have to pay the bills, and everything was just it was just good. It was just life. You're just living life. And I said, so a lot of the art right now is kind of just like different, random, or unique characters that the world has never seen before. And that's why it has like a lot of novelties. So people are getting excited about it. But I was like, but what's more powerful than just something new is something that reminds somebody of something that they already know, that they already identify with. So I said, let's set this intention. And then, I'm very big on believing that everything will come to me. All the answers will come to me. I don't really need to force anything. All the answers will come in due time, as long as I just, know that they will. And so we set an intention. My team and I set an intention. We said, let's create a piece of art that will create a nostalgic feeling in people. A piece of art that will make people awaken their inner child. A piece of art that will make people feel excited, that people will identify with, that people will be, like, oh man, and it makes them feel like a kid again. Because I feel like that's what NFTs are, or really that's actually what they are. People getting excited to buy art, getting excited to join communities, getting excited to learn things that are new. That's just like school when you're younger. You're joining communities, you have your different classrooms, you're learning things that are new, and and you're meeting people, all the different people. And so I said, that kind of reminds me of the NFT space. So let's create an NFT that really reflects and represents the whole NFT space as a whole, on what's really going on a subconscious level. And so that was the intention, create this nostalgic piece of art. And then, so I decided to sleep on it. And I remember I went to sleep, I laid back, and it was like instantly the vision just hit me. It's almost like a TV turned on inside of my mind. I saw a kid riding a bike with a newspaper, and he's throwing the newspaper. And I just saw that, and I just kind of smiled to myself, because I was like, that's it. Like, that's it. There's no if and or debates, there's no buts, there's no arguing with myself, there's no, considering a second option. I was like, that is it. It's meant to be. And so I woke up the next morning, I told the rest of the team, hey, here's this idea, a kid riding a bike, throwing a piece, throwing a newspaper, and that newspaper can be the NFT magazine. Now we represent how we get the daily NFT news out to the entire community in the world to, better, help the NFT space. And I was thinking of the name. So now we're thinking of a name, and I was like, what do they used to say? It's like extra. And then my business partner, Joey Sins, he's like, Paper Boyz. I'm like, that's it. That is it.
Awesome.
So we ran with Paper Boyz. And so we had this idea, and then now we had to bring it to life, because at this point, there's just a couple of us, we didn't have the team fully expanded out, the vision was not that clear yet. And so we had to bring it to life. And so, we literally pulled the trigger. We went and we moved into a giant office here in Irvine, California. And we said, we're going to rent out this office, and we're going to figure this thing out over the next, few months. And, we're going to pretty much put our back against the wall, give ourselves no other option. And, it's a pretty big office. I said, let's get a nice one. Let's get one that we're comfortable in, one that we can move around in, and one that we can grow into, essentially. Let's really push ourselves. And then, as we moved here, we started networking, tapping into with people in our network. We got connected with multiple artists, after doing tons of research and, reaching out to people, and we found the perfect team. And, now we created so it's 3,650 pieces of art. All of them are actually animated. So at the time of filming this interview, we haven't released any animated versions yet. The world hasn't seen that yet, but yet the art is already going viral. We have over 20,000 pre-mint registrations already, just from dropping it on our Twitter and on Instagram and running ads for just maybe less than a week. And so we still haven't even really went all in. We spent maybe about 5 to 10% of our marketing budget, and we haven't even showed our animated art yet. So we're really excited about how much traction it's picking up. And then we kind of found out along the way that there's so many people who have associations with Paper Boyz. There was a Paper Boy game that we found out that, our parents used to play. They were too young, so we didn't know about that at the time. There was a lot of people were actually Paper Boys in our community, when they were younger, or their father or their grandpa was a Paper Boy. And, and then people just kind of identify with Paper Boy as well, because it can give multiple meanings, right? Paper Boy, it could be the news, it could be, always delivering, it could be, becoming wealthy, all these different things. And so the community right now is just blowing up. Everybody's super excited. We released a couple pieces of art, and I'm just really excited to see where this goes over the next year. And not just for like the art and like the idea behind the Paper Boyz, but more so the utility behind it, which is going to be, access to, this alpha group, lifetime access. If you just make one decision, or you read one piece of news, or you take one piece of advice that either saves you $100 or makes you $100, or whatever, it's really worth it in terms of each month, because the price equals $100 a month, $1,200 a year. And we're also having an event where people will be able to claim a ticket to our event, which will be in Miami, and that ticket will be free for them to claim. They'll just have to pay the gas fees, and there'll be a 4,000 person event: NFTs, business, sales, marketing, mindset, motivation, networking, 2 days, in Miami. It'll be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, NFT event in the world as of now. And they can keep that ticket, they can use it, they can resell it on the secondary market. It's up to them. We hope they keep it. We want to see these people, we want to see our holders, we want to see our community out there in Miami. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and and this is just the first of many things that we're adding on that will include things like tech, like softwares, and different additional things in a series of collections over the next year or two.
It's awesome. And I love how you've integrated many, many different worlds. Like I said, the information source, the NFT, you've gathered great artists, and now you're also linking it to a real life event, the big convention down in Miami. So there is the honor of having one of these beautiful pieces of artwork in cyberspace, but then there's the tangible aspect of it as well, that you get the subscriptions and that you also get to attend this groundbreaking event. So I think it's fantastic. We continue our conversation now with another co-founder of the Paper Boyz by NFTmagazine.com. I'm honored to talk to Joey Sens. Joey, tell us what your role in all of this is all about.
Awesome. Yeah. So basically, I'm business partners with Josh and John. We started NFTmagazine.com together. But previously to NFTmagazine.com, he talked about it a little bit. Me and Blonde John, who is Jet Set's little brother, we actually founded a project called Junior Punks. So we sold out that NFT project back in December of 2021. We sold out about 5,555 of the NFTs. And that was kind of our first experience in NFTs. We have been doing social media, e-commerce, sales. We've been doing, in all of those different worlds for years, but we had never really gotten into NFTs, and they're also just starting to get really big. And so after we had just been, flipping and trading NFTs for a couple of weeks, that was when we had decided, that we were going to go and launch a project. And so, after the success that we've had with that project, as we've, continued to build that one out for months and months now, we decided to found NFTmagazine.com because really, when we looked at the NFT space, right, when we were operating in it, as founders, we see the NFT space in a totally different way than just people who are trading NFTs, right? It's like a totally different ballgame when you actually are the founder of a project and the things that you have to deal with and the things that you see, because you meet a lot of people and hear a lot of things that, the average trader doesn't hear. And so, when we were looking at the market, we were like, okay, it's not sustainable like this. We can't, this isn't going to last super long if the NFT market continues with just having no real solid news, nobody really being honest, right? There's nobody out there who's really reporting news that is really solid. And so, we want to protect the home that we live in, right? Our project lives within the NFT space. And so we want to grow the NFT space. Anything that's good for all of the NFT space is good for us, right? And so that's why we went in and founded this, right? And so basically, I guess I would say my role, I'm the person who has done the most trading, done the most, ear to the ground within the NFT space, who understands a lot more of just, how NFTs work. And so that's more of my role, also just managing community and, speaking on AMAs, spaces, and just speaking to the community as well as some marketing. So
sounds great, Joey. Accurate, fast information is vital to the game of NFT, is vital to eCoins, is vital to the whole metaverse, actually. Things are
Yeah.
happening very, very quickly right now. You need information fast. What is a great deal like Shiba Inu, a year ago, is now a dog, literally, and not just a figurative dog. Tell me about the importance about timely information and how it affects the NFT space.
Yeah, yeah. And so in any form of investing, timely information is really important because, if you're the first in on something, then you have like the most potential for profits. Or, if you are the first to find out about something bad happening to a company or to a market, you can be the first person to get out, right? And so, especially in just the normal stock market and just in normal investing and just in day-to-day life, you always have an advantage if you're the first to find out about something. In NFTs and crypto, everything moves about 10 to 100 times faster, like crazy fast. It's insane how fast everything moves within NFTs. It's a very common, like saying within NFTs. Anybody who is within Web3 and DeFi, they've heard this a million times. A day in NFTs is a week, like a week. Yeah, is like, so one day is a week in NFTs. 1 week is a month in NFTs, right? Within a month, the space is completely and totally different. And so that's why having some type of news source that can actually really fast deliver really accurate news to everybody is doubly as important within the NFT space, because, when things are happening so fast, right? Like projects go from zero to, like $50,000 back down to zero within an hour. You know what I mean? And so, if you're 10 minutes late on that information, you're missing out on, not only like missing out on profit, but possibly you're going to lose money if you go and invest now, right? Instead of getting in early. And so that's why early, like really fast news in NFTs is just so much more important than in any other actual market.
Hence NFTmagazine.com. It's a great idea.
Exactly.
I got to tell you, what I love about Paper Boyz is when you're buying an NFT, it's very speculative, as you know. It might be worth something down the road. It might be nothing more than a keepsake for you. But with Paper Boyz, you're actually getting some return on investment right away. You're getting the subscription, and you're also going to attend this groundbreaking event in Miami. Tell me a little bit about that. I'm sure you're very pumped.
Yeah. No, we're stoked up for that. That's going to be awesome. Like, we love events. We love speaking. We love we love networking and, and everything. We love education and teaching people. And so events, especially really big events, are, that's like, it's everything that we love all in one, right? But basically what I noticed in NFTs a lot, having traded, invested, lost money, made money in a ton of different projects, when I'm looking around the space, I'm like, man, these projects, when I go up and I talk to them, I was at VCon, I was talking to like World of Women, CyberKongs, a lot of the really big projects. I was talking to the people on the team when I was at VCon. And when I'm asking them like really about the project, I'm like, okay, what do I get if I get this NFT? And for like nearly every really big project out there, and most of the projects coming out, they're like, well, you get the rights to the art, you get a community, and like that's pretty much it. And then they just kind of go into about how cool the IP of that artwork that you have is, right? And so projects like that, when they don't have really anything behind it besides the fact that it's just an NFT, they're really just being fueled by the fact that the NFT market has so much hype, right? And as the market's kind of taken a really big dip recently, we've noticed that a lot of those projects where there wasn't really anything solid backing them are the ones who took the biggest hit, right? And so with Paper Boyz, we're really launching something that is immune to this type of crash, right? Because we're not here saying, yo, this is just an NFT, like it's just art, it's just really cool art, it's community, like it's just Web3 stuff. It's not just that. It's literally just like, yo, we're giving you guys a service. It's $1,200 a year. Normally, we're just going to make that free for you if you own this NFT. So there's like one thing. Also, we're going to give you a ticket that's worth $2,450 normally, right, for this actual event. And so in total, in the first year, you're getting $3,650 in value just from buying this paperboy. We're backing it with actual services and products that we could just normally be selling to people and that we are normally selling to people. But instead, we have it as an NFT because we think that would be cooler if you could buy the product. And then if you really wanted to, you could go and resell it. And also you get the benefits of community, IP, everything else, right? So you're going to get all those cool benefits of it being an NFT and, everything that for every reason it's better as an NFT, right? But you're getting in reality just a product. And so that's why we're one, immune to, you know, the actual NFT space and its ebbs and flows, but also is going to get pumped up when the NFT market is actually pumped up.
Very exciting time. You know, the world is exploding with NFTs. I really feel that you guys have crafted a niche here that's going to be sustainable and give value to your buyers. So lots of good luck to you, Joey, and the team.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Let's say hello now to Blonde John, who is joining us from the headquarters in Irvine, California as well. John, thanks for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about what your role is and what your vision is for Paper Boyz and the startup NFTmagazine.com.
Yeah. So for the people who don't know, I've been doing social media for the past 2.5 years. Over the past 2.5 years, I've been blessed to acquire 4.5 million followers on my personal TikTok page.
Wow.
And so when it comes to the NFT space and especially Paper Boyz as a whole, I'm on like the creative side. Mm-hmm. So I like creating videos. I like, coming up with creative ideas to make something to get that spark, to make something go viral. And so I'm more of the side of like putting the creativeness and then envisioning it and then executing and telling the team like, yo, this is a graphic. This is what we're doing for the Paper Boyz traits. And so it's kind of putting everything together so we can grab like more people's attention when it comes to like the project.
And just the fact that you have more than 4 million followers is very, very powerful, because when you get the word out there, even if 1% follows, that's great.
Yeah, no, really. And you think about it too, because the way I think about it, it's like, if I can catch someone's attention, if I can come up with an idea, essentially to inspire someone, or even, shed some light on a certain subject or topic, I'm like, boom. Like, this is why I do what I do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about Paper Boyz. I'm sure you're very stoked for the release. And we've been talking a little bit about how it's more than just an NFT. If it were just an NFT, that'd be cool. It's a beautiful piece of artwork, but this gets you a whole lot more. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So Paper Boyz, what I like about Paper Boyz is not your normal NFT project. You come across, you get into the NFT space and there's a lot of projects out there. They don't really have utility. And if they do have utility, it's not anything that can benefit, that person or that, that's someone who's invested into the project. And so with Paper Boyz, because when I first started the NFTs and I got into it, I got taken advantage of. I invested into a project and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna put in, a certain amount of money and I'm gonna make a return and it's gonna be crazy. And then long story short, I got taken advantage of and I wasn't able to essentially have a return on my investment. And so if I had someone or if I had a platform where essentially I can get the news or I can, be in a community with a whole bunch of like-minded individuals that understand the NFT space. And if I can, have a platform where I can find the most credible, unbiased news, I'm like all in for it. If I had that when I first started, like NFTs, it would have been a whole different ball game. But obviously, you have to go through mistakes. You have to learn from, trials and errors. And so this is how we kind of created NFT Magazine and Paper Boyz. We realized that there's like a gap in the space and that people needed, education. People needed, more value. People needed to understand the whole space, the whole NFT space and crypto space. Because at the end of the day, it's like, this is all so new for a lot of people. And if we can be that stepping stone for, the amateurs who get into the space and even the veterans, we can be that stepping stone and provide education and show them like, hey, this is what's happening in the NFT space. This is what's happening with this project. These are the founders that, you should trust. Then like, we want to be that platform to provide that for essentially the whole space. So it's not only helping, us, but it's helping the whole entire space because the whole space just needs a credible place to grab their information from,
Your domain says it all, NFTmagazine.com. It's a great domain. It's definitive. The information you guys are set to put out is definitive as well. Give me a little lesson in NFTs. If you were to give me a little advice, let's say I was going to buy my first piece of NFT, what would you tell me to look for?
Yeah, so the first things I would say is when you're getting into an NFT project and you're, vetting it per se. I said the first thing is, one, look at the community. Check the community and see, is the community active? Are they excited about this project? Do they see the long-term vision? What is the vision with this project? And then the second thing I would say is pretty much realizing, like, what's the utility? So how is the utility going to benefit me? Is this seem like very sustainable? Is this something that I can see having longevity? And so just really, vetting the project as a whole, and then checking out the founders, seeing if the founders are active in the chat, seeing if the founders are active on social media, because all these things tie in into a whole NFT project, because you can't have a successful NFT project if you don't have a, cool and active community, if you don't have a cool and active, founders that actually care about the project, that want to see the project be successful. And then as well too, just making sure that the art is, good. You don't want to invest into an NFT project that doesn't have cool art.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Paper Boyz fits all of those criteria. It's got cool founders. It's got active founders. It's got energetic founders. It's got a great community that's going to include everybody who's interested in NFTs, because you're going to be going to NFTmagazine.com. I liken it a little bit. You probably grew up with this as well, with Pokemon cards. Remember the craze to get the right Pokemon? And because there was such interest, certain Pokemon cards became valuable, like getting a Charizard.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I like to use this example. I always ask people, I'm like, because they'll be like, yo, Jon, what's an NFT? And I'll tell them, I'm like, hey, who's your favorite artist, or who's your favorite comedian? I'm like, imagine your favorite artist or comedian, they launch an NFT project, right? And this NFT project is essentially a ticket to one, their concert or their show. You get free merch, you get backstage access, VIP, a meet and greet, a red carpet experience, and you get to go to their events. I'm like, imagine you purchase their quote unquote ticket, it's like a ticket to, exclusive access, like a membership card. I always explain to them, this is an NFT. NFT has perks to it. It's just like an exclusive membership.
Awesome.
To a club. Yeah.
Awesome. And to get that membership, you just have to go to NFTmagazine.com and you'll get all of the information that you need. You can sign up for more information as well, just by entering your email. Well, Jon, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Who's up next, my friend?
We have Jacob Canales.
Okay, let's get Jacob. We're joined right now by Jacob Canales, who is helping launch NFTmagazine.com as well as the NFT drop of Paper Boyz. Tell me what your role is in getting the word out about this wonderful service and this wonderful NFT.
Yeah, so basically my role is just to expose it to as many people as we can that need it in the space. Because like basically all my partners said, the NFT space right now is very it's fairly new. So there's a lot of misled information out there. And we just want to build something where people could actually get a trustworthy source, NFT Magazine. So that way they could come in and if you don't have that much knowledge, you first come into our Discord and actually learn more about NFTs. Because I think one thing that with people when they invest in NFTs, and pretty much everybody in here, the first NFT you invest in, you really don't know what's going on. I know my first NFT I invested in, I literally knew nothing at all. And it's because I didn't really take the time to research it. I just saw all the hype around it. So I just went in. And then it ended up, didn't really go too good as I planned. And so that's why basically they all came together and just created this essentially a news source. And I got brought on. It's a funny story because I live in Florida, and Jon called me and was like, yo, you need to come out here. I was supposed to be out here for a week. Next thing you know, it's 3 months later and we're launching this project. So basically I was like, I really like the project. I really like what they're doing. And I've known these people for my whole life. So it's I know their intentions are good. And I was like, look, nobody's really using the marketing skills that we are to actually blow this up. So I was like, what if we double down on our marketing skills and kind of use that paid ads, influencers, virality to really take over the NFT space and bring more positivity to the NFT space too, because a lot of it, like I said, just misled information, and there's a lot of toxic stuff going on in the NFT space. So you kind of want to just like pivot that and like actually give out good value to the NFT space.
It's awesome. You guys have a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of expertise in various areas. And your expertise is advertising on social media. You've kind of become a whiz on using Facebook to grow this community that's so important if you're thinking about investing in an NFT. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is like when you're investing into an NFT, you're not really essentially investing into the NFT. I feel like you're investing into like the people behind the project. Because right now, a lot of things that goes on in the NFT space is there's a lot of people who don't show their face and they don't know anything. And that's what's really cool about this project, Paper Boyz, is we literally have pretty much an expert in every single like space needed for the project to blow up. We got good marketers. Jon blew up on TikTok, a couple million followers. Everybody has a good role that basically comes together and fits. It like the puzzle pieces just connect. So it's like, that's why I'm really excited for this project, because it's just, everybody has their role and it's just, there's so much potential to blow up with it. So yeah, that's just why NFT Magazine, people need to kind of like start relying on more like news sources like that, because we're able to see, we've done a lot more research, obviously, and we can give out more solid news so people just aren't blindly investing anymore.
Awesome. I've learned a lot today, that's for sure. As you look into your crystal ball for the rest of 2022 and into 2023, what do you see, Jacob?
To be honest, right now, basically just laser focus on Paper Boyz, but really, I can't wait for, I don't know if anybody said it, but at the end of the year, we're throwing about like a what, 3,000 to 5,000 person event in Miami, NFT Magazine com. So that's going to be huge. So I'm really excited for that. But basically everything leading up to just scale NFT Magazine and to get it the #1 news source out there for NFTs.
Awesome.
So we basically want to make it like Forbes or whatever of just the NFT space and really bring like reliable information out to help people out.
Awesome. Well, I think you're well on your way. The name says it all, NFTmagazine.com. Make sure to go there, check out the information, submit your email, get more information about this wonderful NFT drop, Paper Boyz. Jacob Canales, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to your team as well there in California.
No, thank you for having us.
My pleasure. And I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you viewers at home for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.